Graham Norton, 62, introduces the 6 visitors. He was unable to stand. Graham Norton was born on April 4, 1963, in the little coastal hamlet of Clondalkin. Graham William Walker eventually moved to Bandon County, Cork, with his family. He was raised far away from the fame that would eventually become his second home. His early years revealed a clever, perceptive young guy who took solace in storytelling and comedy, qualities that would ultimately characterize his whole public persona. Even though Ireland was still very traditional when he was growing up, Norton was drawn to the performing arts by his keen intellect and natural sense of humor before he fully realized the potential consequences of that career choice. He briefly attended University College Cork, but it was obvious that his passion was already moving toward theater, and he eventually enrolled in London's Central School of Speech and Drama. There, he started to develop the audacious, colorful, and distinctively friendly image that the world would eventually appreciate. His ascension was gradual, like that of many great entertainers. After earning his start in London's comedy clubs, Norton established a distinctive, witty, campy, and delightfully irreverent style. He became well known in the industry because of his early work on the BBC, particularly his scene-stealing appearances on programs like Father Ted. However, his breakthrough hosting roles on Channel 4, first as Graham Norton and then as V. Graham Norton, were what really made him famous. His interviews differed greatly from the formal, polished discussion shows that viewers were accustomed to. Rather, Norton transformed the framework of the conversation show into a party. After unwinding, laughing, and sharing experiences they had never intended to, the guests somehow felt as though they had been speaking with an old friend. His sense of humor was spot on, wild but never nasty, sultry but not mean. People watched him as well as the celebs. Norton had solidified his reputation as the most wonderfully unpredictable interviewer on British television by the time The Graham Norton Show debuted on the BBC in 2007. With its unmistakable red couch, where Hollywood icons, up-and-coming celebrities, singers, and occasionally entire casts gathered together at once, the show swiftly established itself as a cultural institution. Norton had a talent for style. He could make difficult situations into hilarious moments, tease A-listers without upsetting them, and elicit charm from even the most reserved visitors. Many contend that he is the only person in contemporary television who has perfected the art of easy, natural charm. However, Norton's abilities extended beyond talk programs. After taking over Terry Wogan's position as host of the Eurovision Song Contest in the UK, he gained popularity and contributed his own unique brand of loving sarcasm to the global spectacle. His passion for performance and gay culture is evident in his remarkable career as a radio host, author, and judge on programs like RuPaul's Drag Race UK. His books reveal a contemplative side of Norton that many casual readers never anticipated. They are surprisingly literary, emotional, and grounded. The charismatic Graham Norton succeeded the famous Jonathan Ross as host of BBC Radio 2's Saturday morning program on October 2nd, 2010. From the first broadcast, Norton's distinct warmth, humor, and quick wit were aired on the radio, turning the weekend slot into a vibrant, unpredictable, and completely enjoyable experience. He was accompanied by the always endearing Maria Merlane, who played the part of the show's agony aunt during the popular Grill Graham section, where viewers could ask Norton their most pressing questions or problems and know that Norton would respond with witty, lighthearted, and frequently humorous answers. The program had a variety of creative and engaging elements that soon won over viewers. In tune with the tale, listeners were asked to recommend songs that had a plot or storyline, describing the story behind the music, and offering the public a new take on songs they might have assumed they were familiar with. I Can't Believe It's Not Better, on the other hand, created moments of humor, nostalgia, and mild musical criticism by letting fans request songs that were once chart toppers but may not have held up over time. Norton's Saturday show swiftly made a name for itself as more than merely a radio program. In contrast to weekday mainstays like Steve Right in the Afternoon, which ran from 1400 to 1700, it developed into a fully complete brand with distinct personality, beat, and aesthetic. Every hour had a distinct flow that was frequently broken up by audience involvement, light-hearted, playful exchanges, and a mix of well-known and creative musical jingles. Norton added a dash of dramatic flair to the show by including both regular BBC Radio 2 jingles and unique custom-crafted jingles performed live by the BBC Radio 2 Orchestra. This gave the program a unique and easily identifiable atmosphere. Beyond his accomplishments, Graham Norton is regarded as a cultural giant whose impact goes well beyond entertainment. Norton became a ray of hope for many LGBTQ+ viewers, particularly those who were raised without seeing open representation on television. In a time when it wasn't always simple, Norton was unashamedly himself. Despite who he was, he didn't build his career. He used it to build it, and he did so with great heart, humor, and humility. He has been open about his struggles, anxieties, relationships, and the demands of celebrity. And his relationship with his millions of supporters was only made stronger by this vulnerability. Norton is renowned today for his transformation of the entertainment industry, as well as for his longevity in it. His interviews are now considered legendary. He is regarded as having some of the best comedic timing in the industry. Additionally, his trademark laugh, bright, impulsive, and irresistibly contagious, has turned into a sort of cultural icon. He has received numerous honors and international recognition for his work as a broadcaster. However, his greatest achievement may be more straightforward. He creates a relaxed atmosphere. They laugh because of him. If only for an hour, he helps them forget how heavy the world is. Renowned Irish comedian, actor, and television and radio host Graham Norton has been in a serious and loving relationship with John O'Mloud, whom he formally married in 2022. An important and pleasant turning point in Norton's personal life was their union. The couple's desire for solitude in the face of the overwhelming public attention that comes with Norton's celebrity status is reflected in this softly significant celebration. Despite having a relatively modest public image in comparison to Norton's well-known job in entertainment, John O'Mloud is frequently characterized as a dependable and supportive companion who gives Norton a sense of stability in his life. Fans and the media alike have praised their partnership, which is based on respect, trust, and shared principles, particularly in a time when public personalities' private lives are regularly examined. In addition to signifying a personal commitment, the marriage also demonstrates Norton's path to a happy private life, striking a balance between the responsibilities of his international celebrity and the closeness and coziness of a committed couple. Over the years, their partnership has been marked by shared milestones, travel, and private times away from the spotlight, proving that Norton cherishes his life with O'Mloud beneath the charm, laughing, and stunning television presence. Although modest, the 2022 wedding was attended by close friends and family and marked the beginning of a new era of friendship, love, and support for one another. A demonstration of Norton's appreciation for long-lasting interpersonal relationships in addition to his professional successes. Their marriage is still thriving, representing both the common pleasures and the exceptional times in life that two people who are devoted to one another may share. And it serves as a motivational illustration of love and cooperation in the entertainment industry. When identifying some of the guests on the Graham Norton show, who he just couldn't bear, the 62-year-old Graham Norton didn't hold back. He has had his fair share of star guests during his lengthy career as a warm, humorous chat show presenter, but not all of them have been agreeable or even simple. Norton has expressed his annoyance on occasion, and in a recent statement, he named 6 guests who were very challenging or nasty based on their actions, mannerisms, or how disorganized their appearances got. Mark Wahlberg is the first and most infamous person on Norton's list. Norton called Wahlberg's presence in a 2013 episode hell. He remembered that Mark Wahlberg was peculiar as he didn't appear inebriated when he got there. Then, after just 15 minutes of the show, whatever the devil was in his system truly took over, and it was terrible. Norton claims that Wahlberg started blatantly interrupting other guests, controlling the discourse, and eventually prevented anyone from sharing a tale. During Michael Fassbender's story, Norton once glanced over at him and noticed that he was dozing off on the couch. "We don't encourage that," Norton stated pretty bluntly. They don't intentionally get their guests intoxicated, but Wahlberg's obvious inebriation when he came caused the program to fall apart. Mickey Rourke is another name that is frequently mentioned. Norton has said that he is simply draining. During the recording, Rourke reportedly insisted on chain smoking and arrived with half a bottle of Jack Daniels. I'd turn away for a second, and he'd have lit another cigarette, Norton said. It was really dull. You seem more like a teacher leading a class on a field trip than a host of a discussion show. It was a really challenging sit-down because of the regular cigarette smoking and general detachment, not the boisterous, inebriated banter that characterizes the Norton program. Then there's Kevin Costner, another A-lister who offended Norton in spite of his fame. Norton claimed that Costner seemed distant and only unwillingly took part. When I asked him a question, he looks at me like Jesus, Norton added. Do I need to speak with this man? He provides a somewhat clumsy response. When Helen Mirren contributes, he is overjoyed. It is implied that rather than participating in the lighthearted, candid storytelling that Norton promotes on his couch, Costner felt more at ease being mute or providing few answers. Norton also called attention to Robert Dyro. Despite being one of Hollywood's most well-liked performers, Dyro seemed like a bad conversation partner to Norton. He saw that Dyro was reluctant to share anecdotes and referred to him as a benign presence. We were all leaning in, hoping it would be fantastic, Norton said at the Kellingham Literature Festival. At last, he said, "WH, am I telling this?" No one knew the answer. We made a cut. Norton felt that Dyro's reserved and silent demeanor made the interview seem lifeless, as if the actor was simply there out of obligation rather than desire to engage or participate. Harvey Weinstein is one name on the list that is really unsettling. Weinstein is Norton's least favorite visitor ever, and for very unsettling reasons. Norton claimed that after being first turned down, Weinstein had emailed Norton to insist on appearing on his show. In retrospect, Norton found the emails quite unnerving and characterized them as strange tunnel vision behavior. Looking back, it was a little unsettling. He is a predator because of this. Beyond interpersonal conflicts, Norton was impressed by Weinstein's perseverance and sensed a darker aspect to the guy. Lastly, Daryl Hannah appears on Norton's list of difficult visitors. Norton claimed that she wasn't a wonderful guest because she appeared really nervous, not because she was impolite or demanding. Norton clarified that he had been alerted to the possibility of feigning problems, and that she had a recognized phobia of chat programs. Norton acknowledged that she was anxious during the episode, and that the show was still really bad. However, there was a bright side. Hannah felt euphoric when it was all over. She thought she had accomplished something quite remarkable, and I was so happy for her that she had survived. For Norton, her discomfort as a guest who didn't quite fit into his fast-paced, anecdote-driven program was more important than her malice. Additionally, Norton has discussed more generally how some visitors simply dampen the atmosphere. He once claimed that certain people bring down the program with a defensive or melancholy demeanor. He said to SiriusXM, "You destroy every room you go into." In order to ensure that someone lightens the tone, he occasionally reduces that risk by scheduling a comedian with potentially challenging guests. Norton wasn't merely whining when he listed these six: Mark Wahlberg, Mickey Rourke, Kevin Costner, Robert Dyro, Harvey Weinstein, and Daryl Hannah. He was providing a unique, frank look into the inner workings of hosting chat shows. Not every celebrity is endearing. Not every story is successful, and occasionally the glitz conceals something far more difficult. According to him, just because you don't like someone on the show doesn't imply they're a horrible guest. However, he obviously made an exception for these six, filled with nostalgia, frustration, and a small sense of comfort that he doesn't have to remove them from his memories.